Bloomberg Audio Studios.
Podcasts, radio, news.
Single best idea. After a wonderful trip to Boston, thank you to President Collins for her wonderful team with really interesting conversations at a conference in Boston on payments, all sorts of highlights to that. The major highlight, and I really want to talk here about sometimes the workload is overwhelming. Michael McKee, in one 24-hour period, a conversation with Susan Collins and then with Austin Goolsbee of Chicago. That's a workload. Those are two very different people. You got to be on your game. And Mike McKee really delivered on Friday for all of us at Bloomberg. We delivered today with sort of a reset into November, into the end of the year. Henrietta Treyz with us and all that's going on in Washington. You know the headlines and all that. I want to go beneath the headline data on what's going on in our politics. Here is Henrietta Treyz of Veda Partners on the nuances of the Senate, the House, and recess.
I think especially because there's going to be so many freshman senators, not just the turnover from the election, but all the senators that I expect the president-elect to tap to go into the administration. There could be as many as 9 freshman senators. And it's worth bearing in mind that over 75% of the House has only ever had Donald Trump as their Republican president. So there is this very real deference. Certainly it's held so far. It's only been 2 weeks, of course, but this very real deference. And I'd add on just one more layer here that the president is so much more popular than the down ballot Republicans. In some of these states, there were as many as 47,000 Republican voters who went in and pulled the lever for Trump and then left the ballot box. They did not vote Republican down the ticket. So a lot of those Republican members from specific swing states need to be deferential to Trump because that's what their voters want them to be.
Henrietta Treyz, absolutely brilliant there with some of the statistics, the data of this moment we're living in. I'm so guilty of this, of the framework that I have from 10 years ago or 20 years ago or frankly longer back than that. And she brings it right up to the immediacy of the Republicans in the House and whatever the statistic was she had, that so many of them only know President Donald Trump as a Republican president. We moved on to any number of discussions to look at, and one of them, of course, is ETFs and looking at the leveraged ETFs that are out there. I guess you get a speculative play. Amanda Rebello joined us from DWS here, taking advantage of leverage.
The thing about the leveraged ETFs is that it's not, 2 times on a long-term basis or 3 times on a long-term basis. People need to understand this is a volatility resetting strategy, be it in an ETF, an ETN, in structured products. So I think when we start to see volatility increasing quite significantly, we're not at the highs of the market, but we are kind of teetering upwards, then you start to see that the payoff doesn't work. And we've decided, we've made a conscious decision to not be in the levered space here in the US.
I know, I offer the triple leveraged cash flow.
Why is that? I mean, it seems to be popular products.
It would be, but I think that, there are some fantastic, competitor peers that we have in the market, like, who already own that space. Okay. So I think that, for the past couple of years or year and a bit, cash has yielded enough, and it's effectively risk-free, that rotating into cash could have made sense. All of us, when we think about income requirements within portfolios, now 5 became the new norm a little bit, and so we need to think about how we're still going to generate that 5. So we like international dividends a lot.
Amanda Rebello of DWS. I do want to point out also Eric Belchunas joined us from Bloomberg at ETFs. He was absolutely mesmerizing on this moment of exchange-traded funds and Bitcoin. Look for that across all of Bloomberg. He said he's got an incredibly busy Monday here doing all sorts of different projects for his ETF mission. We say thank you to you on YouTube. We're out. Subscribe to Bloomberg Podcasts, The Commute, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Good morning on SiriusXM. They sat me down like 10 days ago and said, hey, dummy, SiriusXM is a huge market for us, and I say thank you across the nation for that. Good morning, 99.1 FM in Washington, 92.9 FM in Boston, and, of course, Bloomberg 1130 in New York. We are out. Quickest way to get us, YouTube Podcasts. This is Single Best Idea.